Megamaniacs? You got Mr. MegaManFan here, and we're back for another edition of Genesis Does. Today, we're looking at Talmit's Adventure from Namco. It's also known as Marble Land, but the version that I'm running is called Talmit's Adventure. And that version may be the reason for some of the problems with this game, but I also think it may be the game itself. We'll get into that in just a moment. First, I want to tell you the story of this game. You are playing as Talmit, who's on a quest to save Wondra from the evil Mole King. What's funny is when they show you the Mole King, he actually looks like a horribly evil version of Splinter from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And in fact, when the prince goes on his quest to save Wondra, he actually says, "That Rat King, I'll do him in." It's like, okay, you're acknowledging that he looks like a rat and not a mole. What am I to judge? Anyway, this game has you going to a place called Marble Land, hence the title, which is apparently such a wondrous mountaintop resort that it's actually protected by 4 fairies who make sure that everything is happy and joyful. But this evil Mole King doesn't want to just be content with ruling the underworld. He wants to rule Marble Land as well, so he kidnaps the 4 fairies who protect it and imprisons them in 4 crystal balls, and then he does a juggling act with the 4 crystal balls, somehow managing to hold them all in his rat hands, or mole hands, whatever. He doesn't drop them, which is amazing, because you'd think if he's juggling 4 crystal balls and he drops one and it shatters, then his plans are ruined. You know, if I was going to trap 4 things in 4 crystal balls, I'd set them all down on a table somewhere, preferably with a pillow under each one so it doesn't roll away, fall off, and hit the floor. But maybe this guy's not such a genius. I mean, after all, he is the king of a place called Underworld, so what is he doing? Digging around in the ground all day? Is he like a honey badger? Honey badger don't care. Honey badger, oh, he got bit by that cobra. But he's going to take a nap, and he's going to come back, and he's going to finish his meal. Oh, because honey badger's crazy. Honey badger don't care. Mole King don't care. Mole King don't give a crap. So, anyway, that segue aside, what ends up happening when you play this game is it's a side-scrolling platformer. Oh, shocking, right? A side-scrolling platformer, like we haven't seen those before. And this one is pretty generic by side-scrolling standards. It got compared to Super Mario Brothers in a couple of reviews, but that is exceedingly generous, because with Super Mario Brothers, when you're controlling Mario, it feels natural. His movements have been carefully attenuated to the controller that you're using so that when you jump, you feel like you're in the air for the right amount of time, and when you land quickly enough when you come back down, and when you move left and right in midair or on the ground, it feels like you're always going to land where you intend to. None of those things happen when you're playing as the hero who is rescuing Wondra. Talmit is floaty, and I mean that in the JonTron sense of the word when he's talking about the Bubsy games. You hang in the air forever, and it's very, very hard to judge where you're going to come down, which means you can have stupid deaths like that one, because the hitboxes on these enemies are enormous, and yours to attack them is apparently not. So unless you land directly on top of them, if you even scrape 1 pixel to the side of them, it's insta-death. I do not understand the reasoning behind that at all, but it means deaths are cheap and plentiful in this game, because unless you're able to control it, you are going to die a lot, and you're going to die a lot in the most stupid ways. There's other frustrations here. These things say push, so I attempt to push them and they don't move, but then there's a plunger for a pinball game and you can push that and it fires off a ball, so why can I push one thing and not the other? I don't get it. There's so much wrong with the way this game plays and controls, and everything is moving in slow motion. Like that old song by Juvenile, slow motion baby, slow motion baby, slow motion baby, moving slow motion baby. I don't like it like that. Oh, Prince Talmit is a ponce. I am not sure why he is so awful to control. I'm not sure why these graphics are so garish. And there's an attempt to have parallax scrolling in the background with some clouds moving by, but it's so generic looking because it's just blue sky with a few white puffy clouds that aren't even that detailed. So you're looking at nothing moving in the background against awful renditions of a carnival or amusement park, and you've got enemies that boomerang projectiles at you that you can't avoid. You're moving so slow you can't even jump to get out of the way. And then the icing on the cake is that when you run out of lives, the game just crashes. It doesn't say game over, it doesn't say continue, you just get a black screen. I waited, and I waited some more, and then I finally realized it wasn't going to do anything, and instead of editing this out of the video, I wanted to show you just how long I sat here trying to figure out if it was going to do anything before I finally reset the emulator and went back to the beginning. And this didn't happen once. I thought maybe it was a fluke. I thought, okay, if I get back into the game and get back to where I was and make some more progress, maybe it won't happen again and it just was a random thing. No, it happens again. So either my emulator sucks balls, which I don't think so because I use it to record a lot of footage for Genesis Does, or this version of the game is poorly coded, which seems to me the more likely culprit, or it's just a bad dump of the game, which for whatever reason causes it to crash when you run out of lives. Maybe it's an overflow error because of the way it was dumped, but to me an overflow error would be a coding problem, not a dumping the ROM problem. So I'm going to blame the game, but if you have Talmit's Adventure, please go ahead and tell me your own personal experience from running it on the console of your choice. Now, for whatever reason, this time I was able to push the thing that said push, and it gave me some kind of power-up, but the power-up didn't protect me at all because the boomerang guy instantly kills me again, so what's the point of this slow-motion trail of copies of Talmit that follow behind him? Do they attack? Do they give me extra time? I finally managed to avoid the boomerang even though the controls are stiff and slow as hell. I do appreciate the interesting idea of having you hit a target at the end of a level for bonus points, but the janky controls prevent you from getting the bullseye. I think this idea was better done in Bit Trip Runner when you launch into it at the very end, because at least you have some degree of finesse with that, and you have none here. The slow and floaty controls just make you make stupid mistakes that you end up hating yourself for, like you slip off these tiny little clouds when you're trying to land on them because you don't want to overshoot the target, and you're not aware that there is no forgiveness on the edge of these platforms, so you think you're going to be able to do it, and then suddenly you're not, because you just can't land in the right spot no matter what you do. I appreciate that they went for a Mode 7 effect with these platforms that sit after the clouds where it rotates to the left and to the right. That's very nice on a Sega Genesis game, but it doesn't make up for everything else that you have to deal with while playing this game. At least I managed to land on it this time, but then jumping off it, there was an enemy coming at me, so I tried to change my jump in mid-air and died, and it crashed again. And I said, that's enough of Talmit's Adventure. This game sucks. I'm not playing it anymore. This is Genesis Does. Thank you for watching.